It is 7 o'clock on Monday, April 4th, and we'll call this meeting of the Sault Ste. Marie City Commission to order. If we could have a roll call, please.
Mayor Gary.
Here.
Commissioner Bauer.
Here.
Commissioner Bospis-Rath. Commissioner Collins. Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Commissioner Talentino.
Here.
Commissioner Twardy.
Here.
Commissioner Bospis-Rath and Commissioner Collins did reach out and say they couldn't make it tonight, so we need an motion to excuse.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Support.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
They are excused. If everybody could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, everybody. Good to see a full gallery tonight, I think. Number 4, mayor comments and general announcements. Good to see the shipping activity. Our last meeting was 5 days before the locks open, so I know that everybody sees this as a rite of spring. So nice to see it going, and I just wanted to remind everybody for the 5th time that there are 3 city commission spots and 1 mayor spot that will be open in the November general election. And you have until April 19th to file your paperwork, and that is the day after our next meeting. So certainly would like to see good participation in the election. So under B, proclamations and recognitions, we have none tonight, and we'll move to C, public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make any comments on any of our scheduled agenda items, minus the public hearing? So anybody in the audience? If we
Sorry, there's a few of us here that would like to speak regarding the Harvey Marina.
Okay. So if I could get the names of the people that will speak, just so we have you for the record, and then we'll have you announce.
Tamara Roach and Lori Marley.
Yeah.
Her eyes got big. Maybe she didn't know she was going to speak.
Anybody else want to speak to that, Rich? No?
We want to speak on behalf of the Harvey Marina.
Okay.
Jim Horsham and Cole Hursti.
All right. All right. Anybody else would like to speak on that agenda item? Anybody that would like to speak on any of the other agenda items? All right, moving on to D, consent agenda. Deputy City Manager Robin Troyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Under the consent agenda, 1, approval of the City Commission meeting minutes of March 21st, 2022. Item 2, acceptance of the Planning Commission meeting minutes of March 24th and February 24th, 2022. Item 3, acceptance of the resignation of Larry Jocks and Les Townsend from the Downtown Development Authority. Item 4, consideration of the 2022 part-time seasonal wage schedule. Item 5, consideration of a contract with the state of Michigan for the annual purchase of road salt. Item 6, consideration of an amendment resolution to the city's credit card policy. And item 7 is approval of the consent agenda items as presented.
Thank you, Deputy City Manager. Would anybody like any of these items removed for individual consideration, or do you have any questions on any of the consent agenda items this evening? Seeing none, Commissioner Twardy.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Gary.
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino.
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Whoops, hit the wrong button. Moving on into E, special orders of business. City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up first for commission consideration is actually nothing to consider, is the requirement to hold a public hearing regarding the MEDC CDBG grant for the Carbide Dock project. This action was previously requested at the last commission meeting. The action tonight is for the mayor to open the public hearing, receive any comments in support or in opposition of the Carbide Dock project and related to our CDBG grant, and close the public hearing. There's no formal action needed to be taken tonight.
Thank you, City Manager. So we will open the scheduled public hearing for the Carbide Dock project and the application of a CDBG grant through the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Is there anybody in the audience that has any questions or comments about that application process? So anybody in the audience with any questions during this public hearing? We will close this public hearing. Any questions or comments from the commission? We have to have a motion, I'm assuming, to support? Nope. Moving on, then. We'll move on into G, business items. Number 1, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is a request to schedule 2 public hearings related to the renewal of the principal shopping district assessment. Staff is requesting commission hold public hearings on Monday, April 18th and Monday, May 2nd. After the second public hearing, there will be a formal consideration action by commission to approve or deny the renewal of the principal shopping district. The principal shopping district assessment is a funding mechanism for the downtown downtown development authority. That's what you are. Downtown Development Authority brings in roughly $30,000 or so for the DDA. It's kind of a critical financing mechanism for the DDA. Without it, they would just be that much shorter, and there's really not a lot of room within the general fund to be able to supplement it. So it is, from staff's perspective, something critical that we try to get done. So the action tonight is to formally schedule the 2 public hearings for renewal of the PSD.
Thank you, City Manager. Does anybody have any questions or comments on that particular item? Commissioner Bauer, would you like to make the motion for the public hearings?
Sure, but actually I do have one question, and this is unusual. I have a question for the rest of the commissioners as a group. Has anyone gotten any negative feedback in regards to this? Have you heard from any citizens saying, I do not want you to renew the principal shopping district? Which is kind of, because the other years I was on, I would always hear from people, property owners, et cetera, and this time I didn't. And I didn't know, if anybody else had. I think that over this period of time, the people who used to be against it have kind of realized that it's something that's necessary. It's not really that much money. I'm a property owner downtown. Commissioner Twardy is a property owner downtown. I'm sure you're in favor. So I do move to schedule a public hearing to be held at our next meeting, Monday, April 18th. Then again on Monday, May 2nd, for the purpose of renewing the principal shopping district special assessment.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? Commissioner Miller?
Do we need to do it twice? Is that
Yes, per state statute, you need to do
for
it
state
twice.
statute?
Yep.
Thank you.
I have heard none. So it has been moved and supported. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy,
Yes.
Mayor Gary.
Yes. Motion passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Under G, business items, number 2, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is the formal adoption of the 2022 to 2028 Capital Improvement Plan. As the commission is aware, the CIP is a 6-year document that by state statute needs to be adopted by the commission per the Michigan Plan and Enabling Act. There's also certain grant requirements that require us to have a active and updated CIP within the city. On top of those, it's also just a good planning mechanism. A little bit of a format change. We changed the rating scale. What it used to be was just a 1 to 4 scale, 4 being super important, 1 being not really necessary. Within the document, you see the new rating scale that we have incorporated. It includes, let me zoom in there because I can't see it real quick. It has about a dozen or so different categories. Each project is scored based on the columns from 0, 5 points, 10 points, 15 points. Some of the criteria include the criticality, if it's a public safety issue, if it's a legal mandate, project difficulty in completing, what the project life is, does it encourage economic development, does it improve, protect our infrastructure, and there's a whole series of criteria in which the scoring system goes. So that was something new in there. So the request sheets that staff have completed were revamped a little bit. It's still the same basic information. There's been pictures incorporated in most of the requests, as well as a cost breakout, what it could be in 5 years if we don't fund the project in the next fiscal year, funding sources, the department score, and the manager score based on the criteria that we had at the top. The majority of the CIP will be used in later years, but the first year is more of the critical component that's already being incorporated into the operating fund. There's a short summary about some of the projects within year one that's currently making its way through the operations. There are some projects that already have been cut. A good deal of projects in the water department, unfortunately, but we're doing what we can. We have a lot of critical projects that we do have to get done. There's funding in there for the Water Street CSO, Meridian Street Easter Day. There's equipment purchases that we have in Public Works and the fire department, the police department, IT upgrades, a whole list of things. So there's a lot of work in here. There's a lot of work that we need to do. We'll start cutting some of these projects out there, but if there's no questions, we would look for a motion to approve the CIP as presented.
Thank you, City Manager. I like the new format. It was nice to have the pictures in there and some of the explanations, so good job on whoever put that together. So any questions for City Manager on the CIP? And as you mentioned, keep in mind that just because it's in the CIP does not mean that it is going to get funded. It's all about the budget process after that point, so. Commissioner Valentino, would you like to make that motion?
Sure, Your Honor. I make a motion to adopt the 2022 through 2028 capital improvement plan as presented.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor of adopting the capital improvement plan, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 3, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is an agreement to provide advanced life support intercept services for the surrounding townships. Included in the item is a draft updated agreement, some of the changes from prior years. It's currently projected to be a 3-year contract, not a 5-year, and the rate has been increased for the townships from I think 300 to 350 per occurrence. So we would look for motion to approve the agreement as presented.
Thank you, City Manager. Does anybody have any questions on this item? Seeing none, Commissioner Miller, would you like to make that motion?
Thank you, Your Honor, I will. I move to authorize the city manager to execute an agreement for advanced life support intercept services.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor of the agreement, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving on into item 4, City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is a 2-part request. One, to enter into an agreement with Payne and Dolan for construction services related to the 3-mile road reconstruction project, and then a motion to amend the project budget based on the bids we received, changing one of the funding sources to gaming fund in the amount of $158,700. So the 3-mile road reconstruction project is a reconstruction project from the roundabout on the business spur to 129 heading east. East? Where's Dave at? East. Thank you, Dave. The project itself is expected to be about $653,000. We did receive some funding from the Michigan Department of Transportation through their Category F program. The program or the project was bid out. We received 1 bid back. to which we felt was acceptable. So we would look for a motion to approve the agreement with Payne and Dolan in the amount not to exceed $653,620.75, with a second motion to amend the project budget and add $158,700 from the gaming fund. So two motions.
Thank you, City Manager. Does anybody have any questions or comments on this item? And again, City Engineer, pretty consistent with the $1 million a mile for a crush and reshape, so. Commissioner Twardy, would you like to make the two separate motions?
Sure.
please?
Motion to approve a construction contract with Payne and Dolan, the sole bidder for the 3 Mile Road reconstruction project in the amount of $653,620.75, and authorize the city manager to execute the contract.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy,
Yes.
Mayor Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously. Commissioner Twardy.
Motion to amend the project budget based on the as-is project and the sources and uses as presented, with an additional $158,700 to come from gaming fund.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments on this item? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy,
Yes.
Mayor Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Item number 5, City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is a resolution to authorize staff to apply for another grant related to the Carbide Dock project. This particular grant is part of the RAISE grant program. Each different presidential administration had a different name for it. It was previously the Tiger. Before that, or after that, it was the Build grant, which I believe was the large grant that we received the initial grant funding. Where's Dave? There you are. I'm sorry. That's what I was looking for. Some acknowledgement. Thank you, Dave. So as we've discussed with the other dozen or so grant applications, we've worked with the staff within the federal agency that now administers the RAISE grant. They feel the project still aligns with the requirements of the RAISE grant. So we would look to move to apply for it. This particular round, there is a match requirement. So the city will be applying for a 300, or the total project or contribution would be $3 million. The grant would be $2,400,000. We would look for a match to come out of some of our ARPA funds in the amount of about $600,000. We've had that money for a little bit. We haven't really discussed it too much because we're waiting to see what kind of gap we would have with the Carbide dock. So $600,000 is a lot of money out of that ARPA fund. It's a little bit under half. We believe that this will be the only grant that we will require any kind of ARPA matching for. A lot of the other ones, we've cleared the way to have our Michigan Department of Transportation funds be the match for these ones. This one's just a little bit bigger. So we are requesting with this resolution to earmark $600,000 of the ARPA funds for this. Once we get through all the Carbide dock grant applications with monies earmarked or without monies earmarked, we'll start bringing more information to the commission about how we can use the ARPA and put a plan that way. But as I've been told since I've been here, the Carbide dock is kind of priority one right now, and we haven't done a whole lot with that money because we needed to know how much we would need to be able to bridge that gap for the Carbide dock project. So all in all, it's about $1.4 million that we received from the federal government. And as I said, this is going to earmark about $600,000 just for this project. If we get the grant, great. We've got the match all lined up. If we don't, then we still have that $600,000 to do with what we wish under the guides of ARPA funding. So,
Thank you, City Manager. Anybody have any questions or comments? Certainly, you've been scraping and exploring all over for funding, so it's good that we have matching funds available if we're able to get that. So thank you, and City Engineer and Tracy back there for all the hard work you've done and putting forward, as you said, dozens of grant applications, so.
What are we up to, 17, Dave? Tracy? What's your broken fingers say? How many grant applications have we done? 18. Yeah, I think we're about up to 18, so.
Certainly the biggest run at it we've ever seen, I think, so.
There's a couple more that we'll be bringing to you at the next commission meeting, but we're at the end of grant season. So a couple more, and then we should be able to move forward, hopefully.
Commissioner Bauer, since he kept mentioning Ray's grant, it sounded kind of like your motion to make, eh?
Sure. All right, I move to approve the Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity, also known as RAISE, discretionary grant program resolution submittal, and to allow the authorizing official, Robin Troyer, the deputy city manager, to sign it.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving on into item number 6, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is a request to enter into a contract for security services related to the cruise ship landings this summer. So long story short, the city is expecting about 40 or so cruise ships to come into the city. There's a requirement for us to provide security services. If it's a domestic ship, it just requires 2 security personnel. If it's an international ship, it requires 2 security personnel, but they have to be some kind of transport to go up to CSB, but not Community Service Central Bank. What is it? Customs. Customs. Thank you. Customs. Traditionally, the cities had our auxiliary crew handle the security duties. This summer, given the high number of cruise ships that were scheduled to land and the low numbers within the auxiliary, the fact that they're just kind of part-time, they have other jobs they have to do. We weren't sure if the auxiliary would have the ability to cater to all of these. So working with Chief Bierling, he put out a bid for contract or security services. There's 2 that we know for sure operate in the city because they cover the Army Corps properties right now. So we put it out. We notified those entities, maybe another one or so. We received 1 bid back from Stratus Security Management. They bid out the domestic landings and the international landings. Domestic landings are at about $1,100, just under $1,200 per landing. The international ones are a little bit more expensive, but still under $2,000. So we feel that with this contract, we'll be able to provide the security services we need. It'll be a little bit more reliable. We won't have to have police officers stationed outside the cruise ships or anything like that. So we would look for a motion to approve or a motion to award the bid to Stratus Security Management for security services. It is a 1-year contract with the ability to extend it up to 3 years.
All right, thanks, City Manager. Anybody have any questions on this security contract? Commissioner Miller?
So those numbers that you put out, that's per ship coming in?
Correct, yes, sir.
Per ship, okay, thank you.
Commissioner Twardy?
Well, yeah, I guess my question really was, why are we not, with all the police force that we have around town, why are we not able to provide that service and we have to contract it out?
Just so I make sure I understand what you're asking. Why don't we, are you asking why our police department doesn't provide that service?
Yeah, or our auxiliary police.
So 2 things. So our police department, we don't typically want our police department handling that kind of work because we'd rather have them out on the street doing their job. Per cruise ship landing, it's probably an 8-hour window where those security personnel will have to be on scene. They won't be able to do much else. So we don't want our patrol officers doing that work. We want them out patrolling, doing what they do good. Auxiliary numbers are really low. We have higher numbers during the school year because it's criminal justice majors, but then they go home during the summertime. So we may be able to cater to the beginning season of the cruise ships because I think they start coming in about May, but summertime is going to get real difficult. The auxiliary are also, like I said, they're paid volunteers, more or less, but they have full-time jobs, they have lives as well, so it's a low number, we only need 2 of them, but it's still not last year, 2 or 3 summers ago, it was still difficult to try to get the number of auxiliary members in line to be able to do them, and I think we probably had about half the cruise ship landings last time we didn't have a COVID summer. So just with this increase in numbers, the difficulty to coordinate the volunteer staff, we just feel that this will give us the reliability and even the person that coordinates the cruise ships for us, Kyler, give him the reliability that he needs to make sure everything goes smoothly. So maybe at some point it is like I said, it's a 1-year contract. If it works out, staff and I have the ability to extend it out to 2 years, no further. If there is an opportunity, let's say our auxiliary has been revamped, there's more members within that entity, then maybe we can take on that one. But for this summer going into it, we've been working with auxiliary, we just don't have the numbers to be able to do it.
Okay, that answers that. But then another question that I have is, why can't we clear customs on the dock? Anytime you ever go on any other cruise and it's international, you clear customs right on the ship before you exit the ship. Why do we have to load them onto buses, take them over to customs, and then customs bring them back to the dock? They're usually only here for half a day anyway.
Right. I don't know, unfortunately. And
Okay.
I don't have my staff here anymore that does know. So
Okay, okay.
Chief Beerling hasn't been through this, Tyler and DPS hasn't been through this, so I don't really know. I've heard that it's kind of been a sticking point. I believe it has been communicated or discussed with, who did I say?
Senator Peters and Senator Stabenow.
Yeah, we talked to the federal
both of them
agencies about it.
yeah.
And I think it's more of a requirement coming down from the Customs Bureau. So I'm not sure. There is a small structure on the site that was paid for by a federal grant to be able to do that work down there. But what happened, if it's to their spec or not, I don't really know. And we can try to sort it out this summer as we're going through it. But I don't really know,
Okay,
in
all right.
short.
Yeah, if we could look into that, it would be great, because I would like to be able to welcome more cruise ships, but you don't want them tied up all
Right.
day. We want them
Yep.
downtown spending money. All right, thank you.
Good questions. Would you like to make the motion since we're on the
Sure.
topic? Thanks.
Motion to award bid to Stratus Security Management for B-07-22 contracted security services.
Support?
Been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? Commissioner Miller?
I just want to say outright before I vote, I'm going to vote no on this because it seems like there could be some different ways that we could do it. Actually, if we could get them to clear customs there, and we do have the auxiliary like for the month of May, right?
Possibly, yeah, I mean, that's,
I'm just thinking we should probably search out other means before we spend $47,000 on this.
and the cost will be recouped through the fees assessed to the cruise ships. So it's not like we're gonna have to supplement the service with the general fund by any means, so.
So if we spend this $47,000, we'll get it back?
It'll be earned in the fees, yeah.
Okay.
Answer your question? All right. Any other questions? It's been moved and supported. We'll have a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Twardy,
Yes.
Mayor Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
No.
Commissioner Talentino.
Yes.
Motion did pass. Thank you very much. Moving on into G, business items number 7.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is a request to schedule a public hearing for Monday, April 18th, 2022, regarding to some parking lot changes that staff and I have been working on the last few months. In short, we have a lot of parking permits that we issue for a variety of reasons. They are specific to certain parking lots, they are specific to certain hours. Some are super permits, they allow you to do anything and everything, and it's kind of difficult to administer. We have received some customers that said it's kind of confusing knowing where they're supposed to park based on the permits. So what we would like to do is do away with those permits and just do a parking lot permit. But understanding that there's a lot of people that use the parking lots in the downtown. We want to have that opportunity for some community feedback. So we're requesting a public hearing next commission meeting to take comments on that. In the meantime, I'll be sending Tony and the DDA kind of a memo that outlines some of those changes to receive feedback from them as well. So we just want to provide some opportunities for feedback before we just recommend a change to you guys. So we're just requesting a public hearing for April 18th, 2022 regarding potential changes to parking lot permit structures.
All right, any questions for the city manager or for DDA director while we have him here? Commissioner Twardy?
Again, I'm glad that we're scheduling a public hearing. The areas that I'm concerned with is what about like right next to Harmony Health Foods, and then you have Kathy Collins's building. Right along the side of her building, there are residents that park in those permit-only areas. So how is that gonna affect residential parking?
So the switch would still include a 24-hour parking lot permit. So there would be a general parking lot and then a 24-hour still, right, Wes? Yes. So they would still have the opportunity to park in those designated areas. For the most part, we want to make all the parking lots either permit or metered parking. So if you have the permit, you can park wherever you want in any parking lot. The 24-hour ones, we are looking at trying to zone a little bit differently. We've had some future conversations about these regarding the increase of some of the downtown apartments in the areas, what we're going to do for them, how are we going to manage snow plowing and snow events and stuff in that nature. And we don't really have a great answer for that right now, except for regarding 24-hour permits, keep doing what we have been doing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I do agree that parking needs to be completely overhauled, but that was the one issue that I was kind of thinking about because it's right next to my building, so thank you.
And then what the commission will actually approve, so we'll do the public hearing, and then what you'll actually be approving is a TCO, traffic control order. And traffic control orders are kind of the enforcement arm, or gives us the enforcement to be able to enforce the codes or rules, or whatever the case may be, for our own parking lots and then on-street parking as well. So at the next meeting, there'll be an actual traffic control order that kind of stipulates which parking lots and where and things of that nature. And we'll have the signs up that go in those parking lots. But basically what we're trying to do is create one permit for all parking. There is one exception to the one South Court Street parking. We'll keep that one permitted during the day. But we'll have one permit to be able to use throughout the day in any parking lot. And hopefully it'll just kind of clean up some of the issues that we're having. So at this time, we're just requesting a public hearing to be able to get some input about it.
All right, sounds like we'll have a good discussion on the next meeting, April 18th, and I'm sure that Sarah will help us promote the public hearing. So Commissioner Miller, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Your Honor. Motion to schedule a public hearing on changes to the parking permit structure on Monday, April 18th, 2022.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor of scheduling a public hearing on Monday, April 18th, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Under G, business items, number 8, City Manager Chapman.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission discussion and consideration are the fees related to Harvey Marina. As the commission is aware, with the change in staff throughout this whole process, the adopted fee schedule, which was adopted by the commission, was being administered as it was adopted, which wasn't always the case. So when we sent out the contract renewals to all the previous users from last summer, taking the fee schedule the way it was originally adopted and administering it, there's 2 different slip sizes at the Harvey Marina. There's 25 and 45. Historically, for whatever reason, all of the slips were billed at the 25-foot slip, so it was about $800 so odd. With the fee schedule now being administered as it was intended or as it was adopted, the 25-foot slips are still around 800 or so, and the larger 45-foot slips went from $800 to about $1,800. So a lot of new staff. Like I said, there's new DPS director, there's new front window girls that are helping with this process. So we administered the fee schedule based on the way it was adopted from the waterways and the commission. At the last commission meeting, there was a request for some options on how else we could administer the fees. Granted, it's not an exhausted list. There's always a lot more different options, but we came up with 4 logical ones. We keep the schedule as is, with the slip rates being based on the waterways fee schedule, based on slip footage. We can keep the waterways fee schedule as is, but direct staff to delay the increase 1 season. We can deviate from the waterways fee schedule, and the commission can institute their own fee. It could be based on boat size, slip size, it could be a flat fee, whatever the commission so chooses. Keep the waterways fee schedule, but grandfather returning users in at the 25-foot rate until that user is no longer using that slip. So those are kind of the 4 options that we came up with. Moving forward, staff will work with some of the users at Harvey Marina. There's been some concerns that larger docks have smaller boats, and those smaller boats don't want to use that large slip. So maybe if there's an opening, we can move those people around. We've talked to some of the users about that, and they seem open to that. But that's kind of how we got to the situation. So we do have a recommendation. Staff's recommendation is to administer it the way it was adopted or intended to be adopted. But again, any direction the commission wants to go to, we are more than happy to accommodate.
Thank you, City Manager. So we'll go to the audience members, and if you could come to the microphone and state your name and place of residence for the record, please. And Tamara was the first lucky contestant.
So, I'm curious, because my boat slip went from paying $880 to $1,980. That boat slip is not anywhere near comparable to what the other marina has to offer. The docks are in shambles. I have pictures of them. There are numerous owners down there that have done repairs to the docks on their own dime, and you have a 40-foot slip or 45-foot slip with a 20-foot pontoon in it. I'm gonna tell you right now, she's not moving. I tried to pay half of her slip rental last year. She ain't moving. So my other thing is, where's this money gonna go? Where are you gonna allocate this extra money? You gonna come down and fix the docks? You gonna put lights down there? You gonna give us a better bathroom facility?
I don't know about lights, but that is the intent. If we have more fees coming into the Harvey Marina, we can make more of an investment into it, yes.
What about designated parking for the slip owners down there?
I couldn't really tell you what's on the mind of the DPW director right now.
Have you personally walked down and looked at those docks?
I have personally walked every single facility in the city, yes.
And they're horrible.
They are. And nobody's contesting that.
Well, I don't feel that that marina is worth $2,000. It is not even comparable. I mean, you're jumping what did we say, 10%, Owen? 8% for the other marina, but I'm going up over 100%.
Right.
That's crazy. Tomorrow. County. I don't know. You guys got anything?
Thanks, Tamara.
I'm Lori Morley. I'm a Sugar Island resident, but I do own multiple properties in Sault Ste. Marie, so I pay a lot of city taxes. Yeah, I guess I want to know, since I got thrown up here, where the 30 grand has been going, because we have a plan to update our dock on our own dime, like she said other people have done. And so where's the money going so far that makes it appropriate to increase some people's dues over $1,000 or 100%.
I think what we'll do is we'll hear everybody's comments, and then we'll have commission discussion and try to answer some of the questions that you bring forward, so
Okay.
that we
Can
don't
I-
have a back and forth, so.
Like, just to point out to people that are viewing, like, some of the differences would be like, this one has Wi-Fi, we don't. This one has bug spray, we don't. There's a clubhouse, like, there's a lot of differences when you compare the two, and that's why I want, like, they're paying $12.60 for a 25-plus foot. Their rates were increased to $12.60, and then, like, I have that same, I went from $8.50 to $10.50. I didn't go up as much as some of these people, so I'm just saying, like, there hasn't been an increase in how the land looks, so.
Thank you, Lori. That was it.
Hello there, everyone.
Hello?
Jim Worsham, Sioux St. Marie resident, taxpayer and property owner. I've got some issues with the Harvey Marina as well. I got my letter, received my letter March 10th, that mine also was going up from 850 season to 1,050. It's only $200, but over the course of 3 months keeping your boat there, I think that's excessive. Last summer, I sent pictures, or I brought pictures here. My wife and I were getting off the boat. It was after dark, and we weren't drinking. Probably should have been. But anyway, we're walking across the grassy area there when it turns into the dirt area. And there was a sinkhole or a pothole that's probably 1.5 feet deep to 2 feet deep. My wife sprained her ankle. I was a little upset about that. I thought, these potholes have been here for a long time. How come they're not being filled? Now, I used to live across the street from that trailer court, and I got out of the military. I lived in the trailer court there, and I got out of the military there. So I know how long that boat, docks have been there. And I remember when I was working in the emergency room, the doctors would bring their boats up and they'd moor them there. And those are the same posts and same docks that were there when I got out of the military in 1974 as they are now. So my issue is, I got this letter May 10th, and I understand, it takes a little while to get the mail. I think I got it March 15th. It was mailed May 10th. So you give the people April 15th to come up with all this money to pay. I'm retired. Yeah, I've got a pension. I'm on Social Security, but $1,050 to be paid in less than a month or almost a month is a little hard to come up with and really hard to choke up. So my contention is the docks are in disrepair. My daughters, while getting on my boat, and my granddaughter, as far as that's concerned, went down the ramp to get in the boat and got splinters in both their feet. So I don't know if you have boats down there, if you've ever had boats down there, but if you haven't been down there, I suggest you come down and take a look and take a walk and try parking your car there and go into a sinkhole or walk across that parking area at night. You may end up wearing a cast the next day if you're not careful. Don't mind paying a little extra money, but I suspect that maintenance should be done, holes should be filled in, decks should be replaced, lighting should be improved, and so on. And when you send out your letters, how about giving the residents, the taxpayers and property owners, a little more time than 30 days to cough up $1,050? And I'm sure it's more for people boat their boat down at the other end of the dock to come up with that money. I did call and ask about that, and they said, well, if you can just come up with some of it and then come back in and pay the rest of it. And that might be a good idea. How about making a payment plan over 90 days? Come up with a third or right now, then half 30 days later, then the rest 30 days later. If our boating season's only 4 months, why not make it so we can pay that over 4 months? And get something down there to fill up those holes. And that's all I have to say. I hope you take it under advisement. It would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Yep.
And Cole? You got volunteered to speak too?
I'm Cole Hersky. I'm not a Sioux St. Marie. I'm just on the outskirts. I'm on behalf of my parents. Theirs also went up from 850 to 1050. It's just a lot of potholes, and even pulling in the parking lot, it's pretty bumpy. Especially when you're pulling a trailer, even guys that come and put their boats in, like, there's not a whole lot of room. If you're coming in one way, there's not a whole lot of room, and just, yeah.
Thanks, Cole.
Derek Murray, live in Sault Ste. Marie. I am one of the ones that did repair my own dock under my own money, because I had a friend who's got a big old sliver in it, so I was like, that's it. So I went there and spent about $1,000, roughly, give or take, and my own time, and I resurfaced the entire thing and put 2x10s down, treated and everything. And then I ran LEDs, all lights down the whole thing, which everybody in the marina has come down and talked to it, and it's actually quite nice. There's a little bit more I plan on doing, but that's one thing. And I don't mind doing the money and everything. The parking, I don't have as much problem with the parking as they do, because I'm on far end, so more to the kayak side. I do have a little trouble with them, but most of the time everybody's pretty easygoing and friendly. But the price, and I don't mind the price, what I guess I would like to see is a roadmap of what's gonna happen with the funds, right? Just not disappear into some other form of the city. If you're gonna increase the price, at least give an option back or stuff. And for me to go into the the Kemp Marina is not a big difference in price. Even though I have put money into my dock, it still would be, the options are there. Like they said, Wi-Fi, bathrooms, a clubhouse. The people next to me actually clean the bathrooms at there, and I've actually cleaned them myself, which should not be something that, as a payer for a slip, I shouldn't have to go in there and clean my bathrooms for everybody else using it. So those are just some of the things that just like maybe a normal maintenance, day-to-day thing. I mean, I'm even willing to help out with stuff on down there or ideas. Like as I said, I build my own dock, so redid it. I mean, you guys want? I work for Kaysner. We build all sorts of shit, so I can redo anything. So, but I am very handy with all that kind of stuff, and I enjoy it. I love boating. I mean, it's best time of the season for me. So it just would be nice, and I enjoy that marina. That marina is quieter, or not even quieter, just not in town, and it's out of the way, and it's different, and you can kind of do your own things, and a few else who can pull up and whatnot. But it'd be just nice to see some maintenance and take care of a property that could be actually quite nice in the city. So that's about all. Thank you.
All right, thanks. You said it was Derek, right? Yep, thanks, Derek. I know we're a little off script, but does anybody else have any comments that they'd like to say about the marina? Marina? No. We'll wait for, we're in one of our agenda items. Sorry. Is there anybody else that's patiently waited?
My name is Owen Bell. I actually am a former city employee in the Parks and Rec department. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when I worked in the Parks and Rec, we cut the grass there, and that was it. Like, there was no maintenance done to the docks, anything like that. I'm a new boat owner. We just bought a boat a couple years ago, and knew the people that were down at the docks, so we're like, let's get a slip. And the only reason we picked the slip we were at, because Jerry Harwood replaced all the wood there. And I'm fairly confident to say the city didn't reimburse you for the wood. No.
We're in the same boat. Everybody down there, between Kennydale, Jimmy, Kyle, you, there's been nothing done by anyone. Jerry, if you wanna, we have a audience on TV, so if
Well, they like to hear Jerry.
yeah, no, if you wanted to talk, we'll get you on the microphone.
Well, I don't mind Jerry interrupting me. That's fine with me.
Thanks.
But there's a lot of things that have been done, and I think the commission needs to know that the people down there have put a lot of their own money into there. I know I put 6 or 7 bumpers on poles. I know Jim has. I know Rich has. I mean, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I know they did because I helped them do it. We got the slip at the marina so I could take my parents, they're elderly, my mother-in-law for trips, but the only way to get on the dock, we had to do things, so I had to build the dock so they could get on there, because frankly, the docks are dangerous. There's nails sticking up, there's carpeted, somebody put carpet on one time, there's nails sticking out, you try to grab one of the posts, you're either, you know, some of them are rotten, you know, you got nails sticking out. I guess I don't feel that what's been done down there warrants a 70% increase in the price for what I had to pay. You know, I mean, cost of inflation is 7 to 8%. I don't know how you don't do any improvements to the marina, but yet raise your rate 70%. I just don't get it. I mean, that's just not good math in my opinion. So, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of people, there's some handy people down there that are willing to help out, but you can't gouge us and then ask for help on top of it. Like they said, there's a bathroom down at this one. They say there's a bathroom down there. We never got a key. I mean, half the people have keys, half don't. We have, you know, some people think it's their own personal bathroom, don't want people in there. So I think there's a lot of things you guys need to address down there before you just jam people with the rate increase. So that's all I got.
Thanks, Owen. Appreciate it. All right. Good comments. Thank you very much, everybody, for commenting. I think we got a pretty clear picture. We'll go to the commission now to Commissioner Miller. You had your hand up earlier. I don't know if you were.
I wanted to get a look at that letter that Jim had when he was up. I'm sorry, I know you were trying to get everybody in. Could I look at your letter?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. I've never seen one, so I just
Okay.
wanted to see it, if you don't mind, Your
All right.
Honor. Thanks. You can go on another.
Okay. Commissioner Twardy.
I think everybody had really great comments tonight. I really liked Owen's comments, because even at the last meeting, I wasn't in favor of increasing the 45-foot slips all the way up to 1,800. We haven't put money into that marina for a long, long time, and I don't think that the increases do warrant the shape that it's in. And I mean, I can see a small increase as long as we're gonna earmark that money, but to have some of them go up over 1,000 or 100%, you know, over $1,000, it just, I don't feel like I could even vote in favor of something like that. So I think that we need to negotiate a little bit longer. I was in favor of increasing the 45-foot slips up to around 1,400 and then going up to what the going rate was next year. But I'm not a boater, I don't have a boat, and I will tell you I have been down there. I've seen the shape that it's in, but now I'm not even sure if I'm in favor of increasing them at all. Maybe we need to take a look at a capital improvement plan for the whole marina and go up accordingly next year. But I feel like we need to have a little bit of a better plan before we just slap an increase in the rates on everybody.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Talentino.
Thank you, Your Honor. Great comments. I mean, I think all of us, you know, I look out there, I see most of you guys have all lived here your entire lives, and we know it really hasn't had a whole lot of change, you know, in our lifetime. I do have a couple ideas. I was gonna bring this up next month, but you know, we're one of the only cities or municipalities that don't charge people to launch boats. You know, if we started charging people to launch their boats, AE, the fishermen, what have you, granted, you people are boaters, but you launch them once and take them out once, right? If we start charging people to launch their boats, we can take those fees and turn those fees specifically into those boat ramps. And some of you aren't gonna like what I'm about to say. I would want to see a different schedule for the city of Sault Ste. Marie, people who live here, pay taxes, what have you, versus ones in the county. You know, this should be adjusted. I think that's one way, once we get all of this figured out, that we can get some monies, get some things flowing, and, you know, leave it in those marinas. That's just an idea that I've got off the top of my head. I mean, I go around all over the place, and I look at these marinas, and everybody charges you to launch your boat. So, if you launch it there, those monies can be earmarked to go for that maintenance and repair. Just a thought.
Thanks, Commissioner Talentino. Commissioner Bauer.
Yeah, I have several questions for the city manager and a couple of comments. First of all, comment, and I hope that the rest of the commission is on board with me when I say, you know, we appreciate, you know, when guys like Derek, you know, spend their own money, improve city property. We don't expect it. Nobody should ever have to do that. you know? The fact that you did, we're appreciative, you know, but again, you shouldn't have to do it. Quick question, because, you know, the point of discussion tonight is actually not, you know, like whether or not to raise the fees, because we didn't actually raise the fees. Is that not correct? I mean, that they were high, the bills were going out incorrectly in the past. Is that correct, or am I wrong?
Correct.
Okay. How long had that fee schedule been in place?
As far as back as we can tell, about 2012.
Okay, so about 10 years. I mean, I can't even imagine how much better that place would be if we had collected all that money over this period of time and spent it on that facility. I haven't really heard anybody tonight say that they wouldn't pay the fee if improvements were made, right? That you want a better facility. You don't spend money on a boat or have any type of hobby and then, you know, just deal with the kind of crap that you've had to deal with, you know? So I don't know exactly what the solution is tonight in regards to the, you know, the fees and the charges and everything. I don't even know if we can come up with the answer in this session. I do have one other question, though, for the city manager, and that is there anything either legally or from a staffing standpoint where we wouldn't be able to go to a payment plan for these people through this season and maybe in the future?
No, there's no reason why we couldn't.
Okay. I think personally that's a step in the right direction. And I think that we also need to, you know, commit to, as Commissioner Twardy said earlier, you know, coming up with a capital improvement plan specifically for the marina. You know, as far as, you know, as far as the fee schedule, I don't know what to say, because it's been the fee schedule for 10 years. We didn't vote to raise the fees, and that's actually not even what this discussion is, right? So I don't really have an answer for that at this moment, but those are my thoughts, and thank you for answering my question.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, can I just make a quick comment?
Sure.
So there is a mechanism that we can utilize the extra revenues. At the end of the fiscal year, we can put the reserves into a special fund for Harvey Marina. We do it with the carbide dock, we do it with road contingency, we do it with other ones. So we can figure out a process and a percentage that at the end of the fiscal year, there's a pot of money that gets put off on the side and specifically earmarked for Harvey. With that, I mean, as the one gentleman was saying, you know, a roadmap or a way of moving forward, or even to comments you've been making, the CIP, we could have a Harvey Marina users group, and they could help us guide a lot of those improvements as well. And again, I don't think any of the staff members that are currently in office right now would say we've done a ton of work, but it just hasn't been a priority up until this point either. So there is a mechanism in place to be able to take the increased fees or the fees as originally adopted and currently being administered to put it back into the Harvey Marina. And just like we do with the, is it Sherman Park that has a user group?
No, ball fields.
The ball fields.
Yeah.
Similar to that, we can have a user group that helps guide those improvements.
In that case, I would ask that the administration, you know, put together recommendations towards that end, then come back in the near future with that proposal. Again, that doesn't help us with this issue, but I think it, you know, goes a step in the right direction as far as satisfying the people who are paying those fees. I hope that you would be satisfied with that if we put a plan like that together for legitimate, tangible improvement to that property. I would also like to see if we could, because it was such short notice in regards to notifying them on the fee schedule, that that we come up with some sort of possible payment plan, at least for this year, if not for the future.
Yeah, I think the payment plan is something easily doable.
The end.
The end? Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Miller?
Well, I'm not a boater, I don't own a boat, but I've been reading all this. This letter here says if the enclosed agreement full payment is not received by us on or before the deadline of April 15th, we cannot hold a slip for you. Jim's right, he didn't get a lot of, he get a lot of time, to put this money together with the increase. And I wanted to ask the city manager, there's 4 different options on here that says that we can, I see the one that's recommended by administration, but I would hope we could probably do something to help these people like right now. Especially the ones that are going up to $1,800 or $1,900. That's, I mean, that is a kick in the butt.
And I think that's kind of the point of this discussion at the
Yeah.
commission level. It's not,
But
can I do
what I
something?
wanted to say to you though is these, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but these 4 things that you have on the computer here, whatever, like I see advantages to all 4 of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, can we make a different, can we come up with a different solution? Because this says, this has to be paid by April 15th. We're not gonna have another meeting before April 15th. Oh, do we have one? No, we don't. We don't have another
No, and
meeting
that's, we can change that date too.
Okay.
I mean, there's still, it's just ink and paper, it's not set in stone,
No,
so
I
we can even
understand.
push that out as well.
But these folks that have been there for a long time have probably known that it's gonna go up eventually. Everything's going up, right? Everything's going up.
Right.
Boating seems like a nice hobby, seems like an expensive hobby to me, and I think I just found out that it's very expensive. But, I mean, I'd like to see if we could do something for these folks this year, and then maybe have to come back and talk about it at another time, at another meeting.
And
Thanks.
that's- Yeah,
I mean, before they have to pay this, I mean, this says April 15th,
Right.
so I'd like to help these people out before April 15th.
Thanks, Commissioner. All it would take is a motion and a vote of 4. I just had a couple comments. We asked city manager to bring this forward with a recommendation, and he's come back with the same recommendation that we saw at the last meeting. I think that, in my opinion, all the comments were very good. The marina's in pretty bad shape, and to answer a couple of questions, I think Lori had one. Yeah, I've been there, I've launched there, and I've been on every dock, and it's not in great shape. The money, believe it or not, Harvey Marina is one of the only areas of this Parks and Rec that actually make money. It's a very, very small amount, but anything over and above without being allocated elsewhere would go into the general fund. So it's basically a break even, but that's because of the lack of maintenance and repairs and everything else that needs to be done on it. I think Commissioner Talentino's idea of the launch fees, we talked about that several years ago, and then the tribe stepped up and made a contribution annually, but that's not happening anymore. I think we saw last year with the Ani Osborne boat ramp, what happens when you have a bad ice winter and you don't have enough money set aside to make those repairs. The community stepped forward, the CVB stepped forward, and we did a $18,000 to $20,000 repair. You know, we do have, it's kind of an extraordinary little town. We have that ramp, we have Ani Osborne, we have Ashman Bay, we have a lot of ramps that need some repair, and we have some docks that need some repair, and you see that the Kent Marina is getting a ton of repairs this winter. So I think we do need an overall asset management plan, as Commissioner Twardy said. I think we need to take a look at that marina. I think that is a gem. It's a great space. It's a great spot. It's a good place to launch. It's a good place to be and to hang out, and it's got good bones. So I think we do need to put a plan together and move forward. And certainly we can't do that if we don't raise the rates on the marina. But I think that we, the commission, erred, in my opinion, a couple of meetings ago when some type of action we made these rates go up, and I don't know if it was enforcing, it was just, it was approving the fee statement or something, so.
it's the same fee you've had on the books for years. It's just actually being administered the way it was intended.
Okay,
It was actually it was a failure on staff's part to administer the fee schedule the way it was. Nothing changed, except for the people that are doing the billing. You adopted a fee schedule years ago And somehow in that course of time, somebody made the decision internally to bill and charge it a different way. You guys adopted a fee schedule, you handed it to all new staff or administration, and that's how this rate structure became.
So we did realign some fees, though. Was that only on the Kemp Marina
Correct.
that we changed? Okay.
Correct. You had
I
not-
still think it's unfair that everybody gets that big a hike with no increased services and when they've had to put that much money of their own into it. So I would certainly be in favor of some type of a abeyance or maybe modified increase for at least the year. But certainly it'd take a motion and a vote of 4, and I don't know if we have enough people here to push through something like that this evening, but certainly would Commissioner Twardy.
I'll make a motion. So I'd like for the motion to have a couple of different things in there. I would like for there to be able to be a payment plan for the users down there throughout the 3 months or 4 months that they have their boats docked there at the marina. I would also like to make a motion to increase the 25-foot slips to the user fee amount, and then split the increase of the 45-foot slips with the users. So basically, cut that increase in half this year, and then go up to the full increase next year. And continue to have us work towards a user group down at the Harvey Marina so that we can make sure that money is getting earmarked for improvements down there. Long motion, but I'm
Okay.
sure you understand it.
Hold on.
It's like Robin is feverishly typing the, did you get it all?
Okay, so
Okay.
we'll just go from the top. So motion to
Create a payment plan
create a payment plan, okay,
for all users down at the Harvey Marina.
for all users at the marina. Okay,
Increase the 25-foot slips to the user fee amount, which is $1,050.
okay, so I got you, increase the 25-foot slip to
The user fee schedule,
user fee schedule, gotcha.
and then increase the 45-foot slips 50% of the increase this year, with the rest of the increase in accordance with the user fee.
Hey Bonnie, would
Next
you
year.
do me a favor and throw me up on the monitor really quick? Thank you. All right, so just, this is the fee schedule. Instead of saying half, this is, if you can see it, this highlighted yellow number, should have picked a different color.
Can you go down a little bit so we can see where it says Kemp?
I can go up where it says Kemp.
There you go, thanks.
So Kemp is rate 8 on this scale, and Harvey is rate 9 on this scale. And I'm just gonna scroll down a little bit so I can finish this motion here. So the 45 rate is right here at 1890. Kathy, you're saying half, so pick a number, any number.
Half of the increase. So the increase is $1,000, so increase it 500.
You're going from 21 to 45 foot.
Yeah, we're going from 882.
Okay, so 1260?
33 would make it 50%.
33.
30. That's 34. 1428. Is that what you're thinking?
1386.
1386.
I'm not thinking anything, I'm asking what you're thinking.
1386. Fee number 33.
All right, so hold on a second now. To 33 feet with the rest of the increase in the following year.
Yeah.
And then you wanted a user group
User group.
with the
Harvey Marina users. Yeah.
user group with the goal to assist in planning capital projects. Yeah, and we can do that with a motion. We'll do a motion to create a Harvey Marina reserve. And that'll be similar to the other reserve banks that we have, and at the end of the fiscal years, we'll make, deposits, for lack of a better word.
All right, so you want to read back the motion then for public here? And that also includes the continued effort to try to get everybody into right-size slip
Yeah.
and
Correct.
move anybody into camp that wanted to be moved.
Okay.
All right, so here's what we're proposing.
All right, so there's a motion to create a payment plan for all users at the Harvey Marina. Motion to increase the, I'm just gonna do something really quick. There we go. Motion to create a payment plan for all users of the Harvey Marina. Motion to increase the 25-foot slip to current user fee schedule. Increase the 45 slip rate to 33 feet rate with the request of with the rest of the increase to be in effect the following fiscal year, following boating season 2023. And that would start calendar year 2023 / January 1st, 2023, just in case it doesn't make sense. Oh, I do. Sorry. Don't want to backdate it. Calendar year 2023. Motion to create a user group with the goal to assist in planning capital projects for the marina, and motion to create a Harvey Marina fund reserve. That's what I was looking for. Does that accurately
Yep,
reflect your
that
motion?
reflects my thought.
Robin, I'm gonna email this right to you.
So it's been moved. Is there support to that?
What was that? Oh,
That was me.
Okay, Commissioner Bauer?
I have a question. I was wondering if point 2 is even necessary.
point 2. Probably not, but just so we're clear, it's not a bad thing to have.
All right. I just don't think it's necessary. But,
Think
all right.
it's
We'll put it
redundant.
on there, what the hell.
So any other questions from the commission at all? Commissioner Miller?
I don't have a question. Actually, I think that's a pretty good motion. That fee went up a little higher than I would have hoped, but I think the payment plan might work. This has come up before a couple of times in other situations where we say, we weren't doing this right 10, 15 years ago, and all of a sudden we're doing it right, and it dumps a lot of money and a lot of heartache on people. We can't keep doing that. We can't keep saying this is the way we should have done it in 2012. I mean, we should go through everything and make sure we're doing it the way we're supposed to be doing it.
And
Like I know this issue came up at the Puller Stadium where they weren't being charged for a few things that they were supposed to be. I mean, administration down there, they just weren't charging them. And then all of a sudden, after 10 years, they go, oh yeah, we gotta charge you for all this, and you dump a bunch of bills on people. And I'm glad you're doing the payment plan, because this letter here is pretty specific. You pay us by April 15th or you don't get a slip.
Right.
That's not very nice to do to somebody. And Jim, I don't know when you got your mail. This is dated March 10th, and I don't know when you got your mail. But we didn't give you much time to come up with, but as boaters, you must know, in the last couple of years, money's tight, things are gonna go up a little bit. And I like Commissioner Twardy's, I like your motion a lot. I think it went up a little bit more than I would have rather had you not have any increases this year, and then maybe grant. On this computer, there was 4 different things that we could do, and I see advantages to little pieces to all 4 of them. If you could have just not had any increases this year and started next year, I think that would have been what I would have done, but I think your motion is succinct and great, and I'm gonna vote yes.
Well, aesthetically too, you get that place fixed up down there, fill up the potholes, potential other boaters. I mean, when I'm all done boating, I wanna sell my boat, I may say, hey, take it down to Harvey, it's nice down there.
Well, I think Commissioner Twardy's motion has
Let's-
something in there.
So
for-
we have a,
It makes it look good.
Motion and support on the,
Are you supporting it?
I support this motion, yes.
okay.
Okay.
If you don't
Sorry.
mind. Sorry, I kept talking to Jim. I apologize.
So motion and support on the motion. Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Mayor Gary,
Yes?
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy.
Yes.
Motion did pass unanimously. Thank you very much. It was very good discussion. I know that you'd rather see no increases, but hopefully we can, thanks, Owen. Hopefully we can work together going forward, and I hope that you all will be a part of the Harvey improvement plan, so. Thank you very much. Moving on into G, business items, number 9.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is a request to enter into a closed meeting pursuant to Michigan State statute after the conclusion of the regular meeting.
All right, we need a motion to move into closed session, and we will not be returning after this closed session. So Commissioner Talentino?
Thank you, Your Honor. Motion to enter into closed session according to Section 8 of the State of Michigan Open Meeting Act.
Support.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to move into closed session. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy,
Yes.
Mayor Gary.
Yes. So we will move into closed session at the conclusion of this meeting. So moving on to H, city manager announcements and updates. City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple things for you to give you a heads up on. Just a reminder, there's a pension board meeting on April 20th. That was communicated to you all at the last commission meeting. It's not a required meeting, but if you'd like to attend, is April 20th. Upcoming meetings, just to keep on your radar and on your calendars. We're at the end, or getting close to our budget season here. The recommended budget will be delivered to you on April 18th during that particular commission meeting. 2 days later, on April 20th, we will have our first budget workshop. There is a second budget workshop, if needed, on April 21st. All these meetings are scheduled for 4:15, except for the April 18th one. As is the standard practice for the commission, if there are any changes that are recommended during the budget workshop, we scheduled a special budget reconciliation meeting, as we've done in the past, on April 25th at 4:15 p.m. So the budget will be delivered to you all as soon as possible, for sure, by the next agenda for the following meeting. So you'll get that the Thursday or Friday before the 18th. There is another day where you'll have to review, ask questions, wherever you need. I know it's kind of a short timeline, but we try to give you a little bit more time this year than years prior. So budget workshops on the 20th at 4:15, second one, if needed, on April 21st, and then special budget meeting on April 25th at 4:15. So just to keep them on your radar.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Anybody have any questions? Commissioner Miller?
The budget that'll be given to us a couple days before, is that gonna be, can we pick up a hard copy of it? I mean,
However you want it. Yep, we'll email you, and if you need a paper copy, we can print it off for you.
Yeah, works better for me for the hard
I
copy.
guess just
to
right
read.
now,
Just
you
to
want,
go through it, to flip through it.
you want paper?
Yep.
You want paper?
I'm going to text it to me.
I'll screenshot it. I'll send you a million screenshots.
That way we can
of
see if
all
you've
of it.
opened it.
I got 3 papers over here. Tim, do you want a paper one?
No,
Ray?
Nah.
Okay. All right.
might be onto something.
Any other questions for the city manager on his announcements or updates? Now we'll move to I, matters presented by the public, and I know we have somebody anxious to get to the microphone, so sorry for the long meeting.
No, that's okay. It's very entertaining. Tristan Cole, Antrim County, former state representative. I've met many of you and folks that are listening online, but just wanted to formally introduce myself. Tristan Cole, former state representative from the 105th District, running for state senate for the 37th District to replace term limited Wayne Schmidt. I will be around after the meeting for anybody that's here that would like to talk. Thank you very much.
I honestly thought you were gonna come up during the Harvey Marina and give us money. I thought you were gonna be like, I promise you state money to fix the marina.
We can chat. There's a lot of monies that, could be earmarked for some projects. Thank you.
Thanks, Tristan.
Thanks for coming, Tristan. Anybody else in the audience that would like to make any comments this time?
Acting on behalf of Senator Schmidt, he'll be here tomorrow at noon at Birdseye. If you'd like to come and see him, he'll be having coffee hours. Again, Senator Schmidt will be in the Sioux at noon, from noon to 1 at Birdseye.
Thank you, Tony. Anybody else in the audience that would like to make any comments at this time? Moving into J, matters presented by the City Commission, Commissioner Twardy.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you're gonna comment on this as well, but we did get to go meet the first ship of the season. It was it the Block? Spear. Edgar B. Spear. Geez, it was only a week and a half ago, and I totally forgot. But we got to go up into the pilot house. It was fantastic. The mayor read the resolution, so I will pass the rest off to you. But it's fun to be able to get to do that every single year.
Good comments. Thank you very much. I have nothing to add except the Spear went through this afternoon on downbound. So, anybody else have any? Commissioner Bauer.
Yeah, I wanted to remind everybody that this weekend the Sioux Theater presents their production of Your Good Man Charlie Brown, Friday, Saturday, 2 shows Saturday, and Sunday afternoon.
Thanks, Commissioner Bauer.
And clap a lot for Snoopy.
Family? All right, Commissioner Twardy.
Move to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This meeting